slide, please. Just before we start, let me walk you through today's agenda, right? So we will start with key challenges Infoteam 3 Cloud Suite users face when moving to the cloud. We will talk about types of migrations. We will talk about aspects that stakeholders should pay attention to during the cloud implementation or migration process, the benefits of the cloud, and an exploration of how businesses can maximize these benefits, and finally what Fortune does to help people on this journey. We will then wrap up the session by moving into a Q&A session. And as Lina said, we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar, but please feel free to type them in the chat and send them through as and when you have a question. Next slide, please. So now, just before we start, let me share a brief introduction to Fortune. Fortune is a leading global enterprise and digital technology solutions company delivering solutions that matter to customers around the world. We are not just an Info Alliance partner. Our parent company, a supply chain leader to global brands Brandix, is an Info customer as well. Our team are based out of offices in the US, Canada, UK, Sri Lanka, India, and Australia, and have experience in implementing projects across multiple locations and continents. We are also a partner to some of the world's largest technology, cloud, and automation software solution providers, including Infor, Microsoft, and UiPath. Now, Interlint, which is part of Fortune, is a Microsoft solutions partner for data and AI, implementing and offering services that cover the entire spectrum of your entire data analytics journey. Now, enough from me, and let me hand it over to Orest.
Thank you, Alexei. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close my video portion just so I have better bandwidth and speed throughout the whole presentation here. So with that in mind, let's get started with what we're going to be talking about today, which is the first thing is why the cloud itself and what the cloud means to everybody in the system. But before we do that, what is the cloud? The cloud itself is a term that's used to describe global network of servers. Basically, it's a vast network of remote servers around the globe, which are hooked together and operate as a single ecosystem. These servers are designed to either store or manage data, run applications, deliver content, and or deliver a service such as streaming of videos, webmail, productivity software itself, or even social media. Instead of accessing files and data from a local or personal computer, you are accessing them online from an internet-capable device of some sort. The information will be available for you anywhere you go, anytime you need it in the world. So no more certain single server and worrying about everything that's available that may happen with that particular server. So now why the cloud itself? So as businesses seek to rebuild post-COVID, becoming agile will be a key part of keeping ahead within the competitive environment. The COVID era has made the cloud's efficiency and flexibility even more important as it has grown over time. Those left behind will find themselves at a competitive disadvantage that will continue to widen as more and more enhancements come in with the cloud. Cloud-based enterprise software provides businesses with platforms that enable quicker responses to marketing challenges, better data to base business decisions on, and the flexibility to seize new opportunities. But while all this is being done, it's still meeting the customer's changing needs themselves. By moving to the cloud, organizations can replace most legacy customizations that are out there because we provide things like deep industry functionality to help in those particular areas, but also provide a reduced risk via world-class security and uptime in the system as you're going across the globe, and benefit from also any continuous type of technology advancements that are happening, things like artificial intelligence, etc. Nowadays, constrained IT departments can't provide the same scalable level of service, and neither should they have to because of the cloud being able to do things for them. So again, here, why the cloud? You can see we'll leave you with some of these details as available information to you. For some reason, when I share, it stops. So hold on for a second here. Go back. There we go. So what are key benefits of moving to the cloud would be our next discussion point. Why move to the cloud? Moving to the cloud can provide organizations with significant business benefits, such as the ability to innovate faster, maybe to even grow the business more aggressively, and even reduce risk by ensuring that compliance is maintained throughout the system. Moving to the cloud can help organizations avoid scenarios that cause damage to the business. Some of these things are things like critical system failure on aging of on-prem hardware and infrastructure, or maybe the loss of technical expertise for legacy applications as people move on and go to other types of industry applications themselves. Take away the complexity of integrating systems for mergers and acquisitions. So as you are adding software solutions or merging with other companies, that complexity goes away because it's easier to do all these within the cloud. Bottlenecks that also prevent the adoption of innovation technologies. Take advantage of the cloud provider and all the technology innovations that they can come into the system with. Lastly, to provide resources to defend against increasing security issues and breaches and malicious attacks that may occur. Also, expanding IT costs caused by customizations, upgrades, and maintenance are also a problem area for companies. So in order to do less and make more of more of a revenue center, why not let the supporter of the cloud solution give you that kind of information itself? There are also some challenges that are going to be looked at by companies as they look to move to the cloud. Part of these challenges, like the bottlenecks that I mentioned, the high IT costs, continuity of business, innovation, and growth, are all factors that need to be addressed and handled during the process of looking as to whether or not you should move to the cloud. They become the foundation of creating basically a cloud migration strategy. So when you go into this strategy of creating why I should be moving to the cloud, a crucial first step then is to consider these priorities in your business. Determine which path to the cloud will drive the most value for you by focusing on these particular options themselves. Some companies that are out there that have been experiencing these types of migrations are people like RHA Hatco, which has found they were a company that had challenges in their maintenance of the system. They were also being breached with security issues. And they also then took this advantage of this situation to go ahead and cleanse a lot of extraneous data before optimizing a solution. Another one that comes to mind is from our experiences has been Eagle Food. Eagle Food is moving away from a single tenant environment and going into the cloud as they expand and grow. Plus, they wanted to have increased security. Those were the challenges that they were facing. Also in here, they were looking for a solution that provided industry-specific content. So what better than to use our food and beverage solution and take advantage of the innovations that are coming out with the product development and in terms of things that are important to the food and beverage industry, like lot traceability, expiration dating, some of the other key factors that are part of the growth of food and beverage companies in the business world itself. Another good example of challenges that were faced was a company called Augusta Sportswear. They had, again, challenges with maintenance. Their IT staff couldn't keep up and manage the day-to-day activities of the system itself. And they wanted to also have improved security as they were having users, and they wanted to control better how the users work and to avoid, of course, attacks from the outside. And then the other thing, of course, was that as part of the Infor family, they were on an old solution, an old version of the software itself, and took advantage of this to go ahead and make the change into a newer version and update as they were growing in that regard. So those are key factors that were part of some decisions that some companies were looking at that we have had experiences with. Now let's talk a little bit more about some key success stories with the solution itself. So when it comes to things like what we just mentioned, another example would be there's a leading frozen food manufacturer out there who went to market with the Cloud Suite Food and Beverage. Their challenges were, again, legacy ERP, old technology platform itself, and had no documentation for bringing in new users. So what they chose to do was to go ahead and implement the Infor Food and Beverage solution. They standardized their implementation templates and then helped to integrate new business units and factories across the world. And automation, of course, of all their transactions were leading to a better journal. They wanted to have the better general journal postings to help manage the financials. Upon implementing the Cloud Suite Food and Beverage, they saw that they had better integrations. They ended up improving the speed and accuracy of data and reporting. They were able to enable management of multiple business entities at the same time while still being able to review orders, inventory, production, finance, etc. in real time. And one of the key factors that they needed was the fact that complete traceability of information from beginning to end. Key factor in their day-to-day activities. Another example of a success story is Fortune's and ability to help what a company called Royce 2 to streamline operations and design to distribution with the Infor Cloud Suite Fashion solution itself. Again, here the challenges that were faced by this company were dependency on legacy systems and the issues that are involved around that. Lots and lots of manual work to maintain different types of data, lists, and reports. And existing workflows required a lot of extensive resources and repetitive type work. So when they chose to move to the cloud, their solution was to buy Infor Cloud Suite Fashion, also a product called Infor Factory Track, which is a mobile warehousing solution. And then they used some extensions that were built by Fortune for them in terms of laying out their day-to-day business. So basically, they ended up with looking at a solution that was comprehensive, completely across all areas of the solution they wanted. Their outcome, well, they have now a fully integrated solution that centralizes on operations for them. They've reduced the time and effort needed to process a sales order. They've well-defined and standardized solutions, and they're supporting their end-to-end process. That's all been implemented within using the standard methodologies of implementation that Infor offers and Fortune executes on. And then standardized data and metrics along the way. They've eliminated a lot of email and courier-based communications as the solution now has become more collaborative in nature for them. And then month-end closing is now very easy to do for them. So key decisions that you need to make in a day-to-day kind of a flow. You need to identify business cases for the move itself. One factor is putting together the right team for the move with the product specialists that are needed across your own customer enterprise to handle the day-to-day work, along with being able to implement and create the strategy for going with the new solution itself. So businesses like what we just talked about, they need resilience and agility to build their infrastructure to stay ahead in today's fast-moving environment. Many businesses themselves, many business leaders themselves are hesitant about making moves on on-prem applications moving on from on-prem applications to going to the cloud, thinking if it's not broken, why do I need to fix it? Well, the trouble is what worked yesterday may not work today or tomorrow. So the cloud itself has evolved with time, and operations that have waited to make the move to the cloud now have more of an opportunity than ever before to choose a path that best serves their strategic needs. Again, here, continuing on with some of the key decisions you need to make while creating a move plan for your company. Utilize the strategy of best business practices. Software like food and beverage software or fashion software come with pre-built business cases and process flows that allow you to get up and running a lot faster. What systems do you need to move? Do you need to build an interface to something that's not going to be changing? You can even leave something on-prem and utilizing application programming interfaces, be able to connect it to and still talk to each other from the system cloud versus what stays behind as a on-prem if you need to. All these integrations will be maintained by the implementer using the cloud itself. You can make you have to then also make sure you understand what type of equipment is involved, whether it's handheld PCs or other types of equipment that's needed to run your business. Also, global support. How are you looking globally with versus the server connections globally on the cloud itself, and how that would fit in? Take advantage of these things. Also, one of the key decisions is going to be, do you go ahead and clean up data and cleanse as much as you can before you migrate to the cloud? It's a fresh start. Why not take advantage of that time to do that? And then, like we talked about before, you have a digital gateway that you can look at for connecting those things that are not going to move to the cloud itself. Moving on here, one last thing to take a look at here is what your vendor supplies for you from a cloud perspective. You should really be expecting more from your enterprise vendors to be able to support you in this day-to-day move. That's why they are going to be providing things like the infrastructure, the adapting of new functionality as it comes on and implementing it for you. So cloud-based software providers should offer you this platform that enables quick responses to opportunities, challenges, and needs. So these are the four things that I feel that you need to look at from your enterprise vendor to make sure that they are providing to you things like scalability and resilience. They will provide you, they should be providing you a modern architecture with easy scaling both up and down, and taking advantage of the zones of in this case for us, it's AWS, but you can use these to go ahead and reduce maintenance and be more uptime kind of conscious. You need a vendor will help you to lead to lower cost of ownership. By having control more in the cloud, it allows you to reduce hardware costs, for example. You provide better security controls and then best business practices on a multi-level level that will help you reduce any anxiety and cost. IT costs are huge in most companies, so less optimization, more monitoring by the vendor, patching and upgrades down the vendor, and all that will help you to reduce some of your IT costs, and then whatever IT remains becomes a revenue generator for you. One of the other things that companies with on-prem solutions struggle with is continuous innovation. How do I do upgrades? What do I do in the upgrade? Well, let the vendor do that for you. You can look at having regularly scheduled product updates with therefore no downtime or zero maintenance time for yourselves. You have the ability within these kind of innovations to go ahead and update only what you need. So you can do a preview of what's being updated, evaluate if the update is going to be important to you, yes or no, and decide whether or not you're going to use it. Lastly, the vendor helps you provide faster time to value. Automatic updates, like we just mentioned, are happening, and you can be always expanding and growing with the solution as these updates, whether they're food and beverage or fashion, are happening for you. They can reduce time and cost because now the vendor takes care of these for you and handles all those situations for you. So the last thing that's important from a faster time to value is that the system itself will reduce downtime and lead to increased uptime and productivity. You don't have to worry about this because on the global scenario, other servers across the globe are supporting the day-to-day flow. So you are always up and running depending on the situations themselves. So with that in mind, that kind of gives you a little bit of a review of the key challenges, or first off, why the cloud and what is the cloud and how it can help you. The benefits of moving to the cloud itself, making it easier to, acquire and merge down the road, improve your system reliability, reduce IT costs, etc., are all there for you, along with improved automation. But the thing to keep in mind here is that moving with the key benefits of moving to cloud gives you competitive advantage. The more you can take away with updates and innovations and uptime and reduced costs allows you to be competitive in your particular niche of business. We reviewed the challenges needed that are faced and how you need to take a look at them eventually by how you set up the teams, etc. So challenges like the legacy bottlenecks that always occur and give you headaches from a day-to-day perspective, high IT costs, continuity of business, wanting to be able to grow and facilitate or merge faster in the system. And of course, less disruption based on upgrades, doing things with modifications, etc. They all go away with this particular process. And then lastly, we talked about key decisions that you need to make with identifying the case for the move, putting together the right team to help you do the move, and then utilize the strategies that are provided by your vendor to make sure that you make this move successful. So all these are factors that are involved in the day-to-day flow of the business itself, and why the cloud can provide you that kind of flexibility to handle the day-to-day. So with that in mind, I'll open it up now for any questions that I might be able to answer for you.
Thank you very much, Orest. So if anyone has questions, please use the chat box and put your questions there. And perhaps while we are waiting for some questions, if any, Orest, we could talk about some frequently asked questions.
Sure.
For example, the first which comes up to mind is how often are innovations and new functionality added to the software?
Well, when it comes to functionality and innovations themselves, it's really dependent on your vendor. A company like Infor, for example, provides innovations on a quarterly basis. So as they are doing new functions within, say, a food and beverage or fashion type of environment, these then can be, they will do all the testing for you ahead of time to make sure it works. And then they release them on a quarterly basis for you in the solution itself.
Okay, great. And do customers need to accept these types of improvements and updates?
No, they don't. They have an opportunity with notifications that come down the pike. From the vendor, they have the ability to test whether or not, well, first off, they have the ability to decide if it's something that is going to be worthwhile for them to pursue. And then they have the ability to test it in their own system before they go ahead and make it live. So they don't have to accept. They can, and if it doesn't get accepted, that's not a problem. You continue business the way it is. And then later down the road, as the next release comes up with new updates, again, you test, yes, I want it, put it into the system, and keep using it from that point on.
That's great. Thank you very much. And another question that comes up pretty frequently is there a possibility to reduce implementation time by moving to the cloud?
Well, one of the key factors that are provided by a company like Infor is the fact that we take advantage of years of experience and we put together an implementation strategy based on best business practices. The thought is that 60% of what you do is probably standard type of, customer order fulfillment, manufacturing setups, procurement setups, things like that. And then 30 or so percent is basically maybe something that's unique to your own company that requires a little bit more of an extension. So Fortitude will come through and put together these type of strategies for you and help you realize using a 60-30 type of, and 10% being really something that's not functionally available for you, that you maybe have to interface a third party to or something like that. But the strategy of a 60-30-10 allows you to get up and running faster. Why? Because we provide best business practice flows right out of the bat for you. So to review a plan for purchasing something and then going in and releasing the purchase order as a buyer, for example, that's a standard practice that we can get you up and running with faster, therefore reducing the amount of time needed to implement.
Okay, Orest, thank you very much. It's been very insightful. Looking at the time, I see that we have to terminate now. If anyone is interested in learning more about the topic we've discussed, please do not hesitate to contact me or Orest or Lina, who can guide you through to us. And yeah, thank you, Lina and Infoteams, for giving Fortune the chance to share these insights. And well, thank you everyone for joining today.
Thank you, Alexei and Orest, and thanks for your help. And please send me please send me your questions if you have any afterwards. I will forward it to Alexei or Orest.
Thank you, Lina.
Very good.
Thank you
Have
for
a nice
today.
evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.